Alright, welcome back everybody. Today's episode is It's Time to Get Busy. As you might have gathered from the title, it's time to strip. Not that kind of stripping, this is only YouTube. So what we're doing is stripping off the old powder coat from pipes, other parts, so that way we can get them ready for fresh powder coat. Because the bright red's not going to sit very well on the rest of this crap. So I wanted to show you how I do it. The same way I did the rims on the car, the intakes multiple times, various other parts and pieces. I'm also doing the coolant crossover and anything else I can. What I want to do is get the engine nice and pretty, fresh, ready to go. Get it dropped in, get everything fired up, running right, go through all the troubleshooting, and everybody knows how that goes. Once that's done, I'm going to pull the driveline back out. We're going to strip the bay, and we're going to repaint the entire car. The whole thing. As you've seen in the last video, it's all screwed up. Paint's torn, chipped, cracked. Sun has eaten it alive. So, I'm going to redo the whole thing. And I'm going to make it the Mazda Soul 46V V46, the big pain in the butt color to spray, but I love that color. Done a lot of candy paint. Think I'll be all right with it. If not, we'll always think it should have been okay. But what I use to strip this powder coat off is this right here. The actual blue can of aircraft remover is another $5 a can, and it doesn't work as good. This stuff is 20 bucks a can, so use it sparingly. And I will go ahead and warn you, any part of you that comes into contact with this stuff is gonna burn. It eats skin and it hurts. I haven't got it in my eye, thank God, but on your fingers, your legs, your arms, anything that it comes in contact with, you're gonna know it. Typically I would wear gloves, but don't have any, so it'll be all right. I've already stripped the pipes that I'm using and my coolant crossover. All of those are gonna be black, but before I put new powder on them, we're gonna take them next door and sandblast them. Media blast if you want to get really technical, because it's not sand. But stupid simple. Shake it up, spray it on. I wish that it was a fan spray instead of a stream. That would make it a heck of a lot easier to use. But that's all there is to it. I'm just doing this to demonstrate for y'all, because like I said, this isn't a pipe I use. It was an old one from an old setup. But we're gonna let that sit on there and eat, and when we come back from sandblasting, I'll show you exactly what it did to it. But for now, let's go next door. Alright, over here in the machine shop, got one piece of pipe loaded up in the blast cabinet. Hi there. I'm gonna turn the machine on, but there's a vacuum trying to keep the dust down, and once I start blasting, it's gonna be a mess in there, so it'll be a little loud, but you see a little bit of what I'm doing. Just gonna give us a good surface for the powder to stick to. Just like that, we have a nice porous surface that it'll stick in. So, that said, take you guys off the stand. What we're gonna do is I'll just show you around. This is the mill where I cut the bottom of the heads, made sure they're nice and flat and shiny. I was gonna bore the block here, but unfortunately, there's not quite enough throat for it to get through the block. So, it is what it is. We had to take it to a different shop. Got a big old lathe, do quite a bit of work over here. Surface grinder in the back, another vertical mill, but we don't use that one too often. And then we've got all kinds of various parts, and we can build a lot of different stuff here. But sure beats having to pay somebody to make every little fitting or piece that you need. But I'm gonna get back to blasting these. We'll get back to the shop and we'll break out the Harbor Freight powder coat machine, and I'll show you how that one works. Alright, just got back from the machine shop. Let's see how our part's doing here. You can see where it's bubbled up a little bit coming off, but it should be nice and soft where it just comes right off. And yes, that is real powder coat, I promise. But now it's all rubbery and sticky. What I typically do, just break out the pressure washer, wash all of it off. That'll spray right off of it. Something I did want to point out, you see how that one's all still shiny aluminum? I didn't sandblast these before I powder coated them. You don't have to do it, but if you do, it does tend to stick better, because now they're dusty from the media, but there's a nice porous surface that powder is going to melt and get down into and really bite in and grab a hold. A little more durable, a little bit better, but it's getting dark on me. Freaking 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I did get one of the turbos out already. I'm gonna pull the compressor housing off of it. We'll get that one thrown in there and coated too. That's gonna be red, but then the intake piping and the coolant crossover are all gonna be that same matte black, like the oil filter apparatus. I forget what that's called, but also like the alternator. We'll get these all cleaned up, and if you're curious, this is the coolant crossover for a Mach 1. It comes apart. If it's ever leaking, don't think that that's welded right there. Simply gets an O-ring and then pushed together. Somebody had siliconed it. That'll clean off. Siliconed it before, and it was a pain to pull apart, but we got her done. So we'll get everything washed up, cleaned up, and I'll drag the oven out and show you exactly what my setup is. Cheapest of the cheap. Nothing fancy about it. There's nothing that you guys can't just go out and pick up. But I'll get more into that here shortly. And like I said, some of the stuff I've done, granted they're dirty, don't yell at me. I completely stripped these wheels using that same stuff and did the 2 different powder coats. Well, the black's one, and then that red actually gets 3 layers to turn that color. It's the Illusion Cherry, I don't remember. It's a pain in the butt. You got to put the red on, bake it, recoat it, and then there's a special clear coat you put over top of that to actually turn it to that real deep. It's actually a beautiful bright red, but like I said, it's almost dark out here on me. Anyways, that's that. I got to go back to the shop, grab my phone stand, set you guys on, get the oven drug out, get the powder coat machine drug out, and we'll get back to it. I'll show you exactly how I do and what I use. So, all right, guys, it's actually the next day because we got some sunlight now. But here's where we're at. Got everything sandblasted, got it cleaned up, ready to powder coat. I've got it hanging off the oven rack, and this is my $50 Facebook Marketplace oven. Same thing you would find in your house. Set at 415 degrees. The way this works, once the powder melts onto the part and the part reaches 400, this particular powder wants another 10 minutes at 400 degrees. It's not whenever the oven reaches 400 degrees, it's the actual part itself. Then the powder really adheres to it. Got our handy dandy Harbor Freight powder coat machine all hooked up, got the ground hooked to it. This thing is literally falling apart on me, but it's been used quite a bit. I mean, for the $60 it costs, it ain't bad. Set my regulator at 14 PSI, and then on the actual gun, there's this tiny little screw that you can adjust and fine tune it. I have no idea what it actually comes down to be, but I would guess probably 9 to 11 psi. But let's hit the button and get going. A little more air. There it is. And with this thing, if you use it at a down up angle some way, it fills the entire chute full of powder and it just throws it out. If you can keep it level or down, it works a heck of a lot better. If you go from up straight to down, you're gonna get a cloud out of the end of it. But let's finish it. See if I can come around here where you guys can actually see what's going on. And you have to hit the pedal to engage the machine. If you don't, it doesn't work very good. All you want to do is get a nice even coat on the whole thing, and you'll actually see the powder come out there and stick to the part if you're holding the pedal down. If you're not, it's not going to stick. Ask me how I know. And if you get too close to the part, it will arc, and then you get a giant fireball out the end of the gun. It's kind of cool, but also not. If you didn't know, powder coat is flammable. With that said, that looks to be pretty well covered. Damn this thing. See what I mean though? It just throws out chunks or a cloud, and then you got way too much on the part. But looks to be pretty good. If you get a thick spot that you don't like, you can literally blow it off and it'll be good. Lightly pull the trigger and just kind of dust around my fittings so that way it gets down there in the corners, cracks and crevices, and we're good to go. So now all I'm gonna do, set that piece of junk down carefully, take off my ground, if you thump it too hard, your powder will fall off. Already preheat the oven. Get this set in there. If you're like me, you put the rack in backwards every freaking time. Nice and easy, just like that. Now, we'll wait till the part hits 400 degrees and we'll come back to it. I'll show you once everything actually starts to melt, turns liquid. It's pretty cool.
Ho ho ho, we're cooking the powder coat. It come out nice and pretty. Almost done, but she's getting there.
All right, see what we got.
Ho ho ho, she is cooked. Beautiful.
Well, I still got the other pieces to do, but turn this hunk of drone off. Pull this out and let it cool, because right now, anything, you see the rag sticking to it, it's still tacky and you could displace it. So let it cool and then we can handle it. I'll get the other piece in here and we'll do the coolant crossover. Also wanted to show you, this is the Harbor Freight powder coater. No kind of adjustments for amperage or, turning up the voltage, making it stick better if you do second coats, this kind of stuff. But you get what you pay for, and it works. And I just wanted to make this video to show everybody you don't have to have hundreds and hundreds of dollars for an oven and a machine, this, that, and the other, to do powder coat at home. It's literally a $50 marketplace oven, and I think this setup's like 70 bucks, brand new at Harbor Freight. And it works like a champ. Nothing to it. But that's all. Just wanted to show you guys doing a little bit of home powder coat, get everything pretty and cleaned up. Just waiting on the oven, sitting here watching Cletus' old videos from when he was first building Leroy. But leave me a comment. How many of y'all do that? Take one of your favorite YouTubers, go back to their beginning basically, and just watch a whole bunch of videos to see where they came from basically. I mean, if you look at him back in the day, Cletus, he was a kid in a garage building a Corvette. And then look at him now, he owns a racetrack and all kinds of stuff. And it's crazy to think, where he come from and where he's at. But leave me a comment. Let me know how many of you guys actually do that too. Other than that, it's going to be it for this one. Powder coating, I'll get it done. Still waiting on the keyway so we can build the engine. Of course, it's a specialty piece of junk, Woodruff key. So I've ordered one and I'm waiting. Once that's in, we can check the piston and valve clearance. I've got the head gasket finally. We can get this thing slammed together, get it in the car, fire it up. So stay tuned. Do me a favor, like and leave me a comment and subscribe. 93% of people that watch my videos don't subscribe. Just help me out, hit the button. It's free, don't cost you nothing, helps me a bunch. Trying to make a channel grow, and we'll get more projects, do more stuff. Just help me grow and we'll keep it rolling. But thank you guys, and we'll catch you later.